Alrighty guys, welcome back to Ultima Online, and today I'm going to go over some of the reasons why I chose UOAlive over some of the others to be my home whenever I play Ultima Online. So one of the first few things, obviously, is going to be the kind of quality of life you get on the server itself, and I believe that this one gives a great quality of life to the server, to the players, and still keeps things interesting enough to keep you going. Obviously, I know a lot of servers you might end up getting bored. You've got the gold, you've got the castle, you've got this, and unless you're wanting to kill the same dragons over and over, sometimes that does get a little dry. This has unique events coming all the time. It's got great community for doing champ spawns, and well, there's just a lot more as well that I could go into. But this one's going to be just where you start off in New Haven with your brand new character. So let's just assume that this character is my brand new character. You're going to start off here, and you'll notice that everything is very customized. You've got vendors all along the sides here selling basic stuff. You've got some more advanced stuff on some of them, just kind of depends. Like look here, you've got a shrunken pet. So you can look here for anything that you get when you gather your initial gold. There's also an instructor for literally everything here, as well as some quests you can pick up and do just to further yourself a little bit more skill wise, and also pick up some of that gold coin that we all know we're going to need. So first things first, if you head out into the wilds here, you'll notice there is a large amount of spawn over here, and that is, I'm assuming that is for the purpose of helping tame, but also helping get your initial combat skills up whenever you are first starting out. So obviously, as that point, you saw Mongbat came over. He did the best he could. Poor Mongbat. But as you keep going this way, if you're going west, you're going to run into a couple of more difficult mobs, the little boglings. You start going from hinds to great deer. You've got a cougar over there. And then all the way down here, you're going to start running into some ettins. Ettin. So you can definitely gain skill out here if this is something, if you don't really like dungeons or caves. This is definitely a good option to do that with. And also, as you can see, there is a ton of creatures out here to begin practicing your taming on, to get the taming where you need it to be. So right here, we've got our archery place. Here. Scoot on back to where we were. So this is not only where the main people are going to hang out, this is also the bank. So if you need to bank your cash, this is the place to do it. Down here, we've got where all the melees are going to go to gain their skills. It's going to be this large area right here. You've got swords, parry, tactics, mace fighting, all the stuff down there, as well as a blacksmith to buy your first shield or whatever you may need to. But the biggest thing that I absolutely love about New Haven in the starter area is going to be their starter dungeon. So in here, you've got a wall to keep you safe on this side, of course, in case you need a resurrection or anything like that. But one thing I will say is if you have your pet out over here and you think that you're safe, if these guys aggro you somehow, or let's say they have aggro through the tunnel or through the portal, see if they'll aggro. There. Well, okay. Anyways, long story short, they will actually follow you through here as well. Not the mobs, but your pet. So if you have like a weak pet, like a dog or something, and it's just there to help you, and you get aggro, your dog will freak out along the wall here until it goes through the portal, and then if you're AFK or something, life happens. At that point, you could lose your dog. It's going to be pretty sure you're not going to have a bonded animal at this point. So just keep that in mind. If you can ride it. That way it won't. But you got a couple different areas in here. You've got harpies, you got mongbats, you got ratmen. And as you can see, they still can be in the paragon forms. So this would be a great place to get a few paragon chests if you're just starting out. So you can see they go from mongbats to rats. And then you've got your earth elementals. trolls, ettins. There is an ogre lord up here. Ogre lords are actually kind of tough to the uninitiated. But no, the ogre lords will be kind of tough in the beginning, especially if you're a melee class. They just do, they hit pretty hard. So make sure that if you do come up here to this area, the ogres and the trolls, those should be pretty simple. But just be careful with this guy right. He's unforgiving. So as you keep going through here, you're going to find some more orcs, goblins, and then, okay, so he's dead, but there is an orcish captain, I believe. Oh, orc brute over here. That he's actually pretty typically a little bit harder than the ones over here as well. You got a bunch of slimes, and then of course you got your good old archer. So giant beetle, great first tame if you're wanting to get it, you know, if you're a tamer, and then you can zap out. Now you're into the second area of the dungeon. This dungeon has several different ways you can go. This way is just riddled with traps. Careful there. And in here, this will spawn in almost like a champ spawn does. So if you're looking for a little bit of a challenge or you got a couple people with you, this is a great way to skill up quickly. And you'll be able to also get pretty good loot out of here. Obviously the goal's not dropping in the thousands, but as you can see, very, very quickly you're going to have enough for your first horse, for your first bundle of arrows, for your first, you know, magery reagents. That way you can go ahead and work on your magery. Because like I said, there's nothing wrong with AFK working on that kind of. The only thing you can't AFK is gather resources. And that's for a pretty good reason. I mean, there's no PKing on here, so if they had AFK resources, it would really pretty much tank the economy. So without that check, then yeah, that wouldn't be good. So they do enforce that pretty heavily. So don't be on the receiving end of breaking the very limited rules they have in place. It's pretty easy to follow the rules they have in place. I would just do that. There's always going to be that one, but unfortunately, it would be nice if it would. So yeah, right here, you've got some, you know, some higher level stuff here. The Paragon Lich might actually be a problem if you were just used to, if you were on the cuff of just being able to kill a Lich. Paragon Lich would definitely put up a fight. But I think you'll be just fine. So next, we'll go to the next area. And you can actually port directly out of here as well. In that center room we ported in. You don't have to go all the way back out past the orc brute and everything else. We'll just go up in here, show you that portal. Portal's right there. This area over here, once again, a little bit harder than the skeletons. You're going to have the specters. You're going to have them. You're going to have oh, so there's an actual Lich Lord. So that one would be a little more challenging if you were a new player. But it's a great place over in this area right here. Man, I would literally call this Resist Spells Corner. Because this is where you're going to get a lot of your resist spells up. Just from the amount of damage they're going to do. Their attacks are going to be fundamentally casted by. Alright, so we'll bounce out of here. Right back to the front here in safety. And that is the dungeon, guys. One more thing to note. The gold from here is good for starting. Absolutely. So keep all of that. Keep the things that they drop, because you can sell everything. There's a vendor for everything in here. So just keep that in mind. You will have young player status. I don't know how long you have it actually, to be honest with you. But you will have young player status for a while. So when you head out this direction, you're going to see more options for you to actually fight outside of the dungeons. So as you can see, we've got more skeletons coming up. We've got zombies, got Paragon zombies. Then again over here, you're starting to get into your specters. And they're not spawning in small amounts. It's not just like one here, one here, one here. I mean, this is plenty of creatures to keep you going and get those gains going up on your skill set. So I would definitely recommend using this to the maximum before you head out on your own. Just because, why not? It's here for you. It's available. Oh, okay. So, just for the record, this is the Necro Trainer. I couldn't find it for the life of me for like the longest time. It's a little bit out of the way, but it is the pyramids. Keep that in mind. And if you are going to be playing a tamer, this is just crazy tamer central for the early level skills you're going to be needing to make a successful tamer. And I'll tell you what, that kind of covers my first point here is the amazing starter area. I absolutely love that they did this. It's awesome and it's going to help you get very, very far on your skill set before you have to go out into the world where unfortunately it's Ultima Online, you will inevitably be killed. So this gives you a chance to play without that fear before you go out. Now the next thing is, let's just say that you have racked up a couple thousand gold in there in the dungeon and you come out here and let's just say that for some reason these vendors over here are asking just crazy amount of money. So let's see what this is. So 20,000, I mean, it looks like a nice piece, but obviously you're not in that 20,000 range yet. So you're going to want to look for 100,000 if you want a pet cat. So anyways, what I'm saying is instead of having to click on every single one of these to go through what you don't want, this is an awesome feature. You just click on your icon or your character here and go down to vendor search. You can tell I was looking up power scrolls. But so we can go straight in here to weapons. Let's just say that you're a swords user, and we can click search. Now, well, I'll tell you what we were going to do. We're going to go price low to high. That way we don't end up seeing the million gold. So if you look through here, for the price that you would literally almost pay for it at the blacksmith for just a standard one, you could get this Scimitar of Haste, 6 dexterity, stamina leech, faster casting, 6 stamina regeneration. That's a pretty decent weapon for starting off. It's going to be a hell of a lot better than what you can get at the blacksmith. And a lot of these are going to be gargoyle only. So a mystic sword, yeah, hit cold area 65%. So you're gonna be doing AoE damage to all the skeletons around you. Lower mana cost, mana regen. That's a good item as well. And this one, crazy item. So for 200 gold, you could get hit point 4, battle lust, fire area 48%, and it does chaos damage. So, long story short, definitely come in here, click on your character, go to vendor search, and then type in what you're looking for. On top of just being able to use this for weapons and armor, you're going to be able to go down here where it says pets. I prefer ready to bond, but you don't have to do that. But I like ready to bond pets. And then search. I still have my low to high in. So you could look at your first pet here. Shrunken cat. Looks like it's got 6 hit points, 9 strength, and 35 dex. Might not be what you'd be looking for if you were wanting to go out and fight with it. But what you're going to want to look for here is more of your first actual battle pet, which the Kirin would be a great first, or the Hyrule would be a great first battle pet. In fact, if I was the guy picking this, I would definitely go with the Hyrule here. You're looking at 9,000 gold, and it comes a lot faster than it seems, and you are going to have a bonded pet, and it's only got 3 slots taken, so that means that you're going to have 2 more slots to level it up, customize it to what you want it to be. And the higher user, they're an awesome pet. So you're going to be just almost speed lined into taking on the harder dungeons, raking in the more gold, and being able to enjoy the game on a much, much higher level than you would, you know, obviously going out and trying to tame this stuff on your own and going from bear to bear to bear, trying to do it. So once you get that taming to 100, and that animal lore to 100, animal lore should be 100 before you start taming it all. You'll be able to use one of these. Let me go ahead and see what this one. So yeah, it only requires 98.7. So you will actually be perfectly fine with 100 animal taming and 100 animal lore taming this thing up. At which point you will have a 530 hit point pet. So it does dismount. I would probably switch that out, to be honest. I don't know. I think that would be more of like a PvP thing, but Grasping Claw, as you can see, it takes 30 mana. and causes the creature to use its claws to shred a target, causing a loss in physical resistance and physical damage. So debuff, you debuff the crap out of the mob, which is awesome. And you'll have the ability to up the regen, up the stamina, and up the mana regeneration. And this one eats meat. Be careful when you look at some stuff. Obviously, you'll see the creature and you'll be like, "Man, that eats meat," because obviously it's carnivore. Sometimes it does say berries. I've got a dog that eats berries, so just make sure to feed it the right food. But yeah, for 9,000, I think that's what it was. 9,000. That is a steal for a first pet. But yeah, going in here and just looking over. Now, this goes for if you're looking for anything really. 10,000 for some dragons, white worms. When you're first picking a pet, though, keep in mind that however many slots it has, you only get 5. So if it's a 4-slot white worm, that sounds awesome, but you only get to train it up 1 more slot to make it a 5-slot. So you're going to get more bang for your buck out of the lower slot items, such as the 3-slot Hyrule. There's actually some 1-slot lesser Hyrule here that you could probably beef up even more than you could the regular Hyrule at 3-slot. So just keep that in mind whenever you're looking over stuff. Sometimes I just like to look through here just because, man, yep, look at that. Fire Steed looks awesome. A little bit higher pricey on that one, but they are definitely available. This gives you something to look forward to too if you're wanting to go out and get different pets, or if you're just doing this for like a fashion show and you just want to get a really nice looking pet to go with you. You can obviously look through here as well. And one other thing that I've really enjoyed through here is miscellaneous, and you'll be able to pick up power scrolls, stat scrolls, and most importantly for me, treasure maps. So yeah, you can definitely look up treasure maps, find out where or how many you can get, if it's a good deal. There are some daily rares that people will sell, and these are typically little items you can put into your home for decoration or whatever it may be. Daily stolen egg. You've got some empty bottles. Just things you can put on your wall. I mean, that little sarcophagus looks, I guess, a cocoon. Copper coins. So there's just a plethora of stuff you can look through here and, you know, make a decision whether or not you want to spend the money to get it on there. So one other thing I would like to show you guys that actually helped me out, because I was looking to make a caster, and one of the main things you want to look for when you're making a caster in the beginning is lower reagent cost gear. So let's look at caster item properties, lower reagent cost. Let's just type in 25 because I want to buy 4 pieces of this at 25% lower reagent. You've got it here as low as 100 gold. It may not look so good in this wide brim hat. You've got a ring. You've got, that's for gargoyles. So for 5, 6, 7. Okay, so for 1,400 gold, you would be able, well, I guess that one would let you meditate through it. Let me see if I can. Work with me. Some of them will say mage armor, and then you can make it work. Dang, those are real good for 2K. But you get my point. For less than probably 4 grand, you're going to be able to get a full suit of reagent reducing effects that are going to allow you to cast your spells and macro your spells, whatever it may be, to get to GM without costing you anything. Because if you did the cost difference on what it would take in reagents to get you to 100 or beyond that, actually, if that's what you're wanting to do, versus just spending the 3 or 4K it takes to look weird for a couple of hours while you're doing it before you switch back to your other armor, yeah, it's going to be a dramatic difference. Oh, it's way better to go with this. And I guess because of the other stats on it, because it is randomized, I believe, like no one wants to buy this white brim hat. But realistically, I mean, it's a great hat if you're wanting to lower your reagent costs. So keep that in mind as well. One more thing you can look at on here, caster item properties, is one other thing that you're going to want whenever you stop doing your training, and that is spell damage increase. So doing that, you're going to be able to look up all of the stuff that comes with a spell damage in. As you can see, it gets a little more pricey on, or at least for the 25%. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome being able to have this at your disposal, being able to look up everything from commodities to crafting to just every single thing that's going to be for sale. And whenever you set up your own personal vendor, like I have at my place, let me show you. My place is out in the sticks. No one comes here, and that's perfect for me. But my vendor is vendor search enabled. So even though no one ever is going to come out here, they can still see my guy's stuff when they search for it. So I've got power scrolls on here. I've got weird masks, dragon slaying stuff. I've got all this on here, and it should sell eventually whenever they look it up. Probably not to be to the same effect if I had like a vendor in the middle of the town where everybody congregates, but it does well for me. So. But that's going to be the first part of why I chose Ultima Online Alive. And if you liked watching, and if you like what you're hearing, we would absolutely love for you to come and play with us. Run some champ spawns, get those skills up, and start doing some dungeon crawling, and or shoot, pick up a hammer and be a blacksmith. That's the benefit of Ultima Online. You can literally do anything that you want. So please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I look forward to seeing you guys in part 2 tomorrow. Later, everybody.